Hello, good evening, everybody. Right. All right. A very good evening to everyone who's watching us live on YouTube, on Facebook page, and also those who in the webinar. Right. So in today's special webinar, I'm Dr. Zam. Okay. We are gonna touch on what is Singapore secondary math and Dr. Zam's math, right? So in this webinar, I'm gonna show you how any student can score and improve tremendously in Singapore secondary math using Dr. Zam's math method of brain-based learning. All right. So I will be touching more on this, so you can learn more about how you can help your child, and if you're a student, secondary school student, and you're watching this, how you can help yourself. All right. So these are the things that we're going to cover today. We're going to take a look at the Singapore math framework, which is actually problem solving. And then we're going to take a look at Dr. Zam's math. So Dr. Zam's math is actually mathematical problem solving. Alright, then we're going to take a look at the publication that's going to come out around February or March of next year, which is called the Dr. Zam's Ultimate Secondary Math Series books, which is meant for lower secondary math, express, normal ACAD, normal tech, lower secondary math, and also upper secondary, O level and N level. Alright. Okay, then we're going to take a look at secondary math new exam format. Alright, which is actually which is relatively new. Alright, then we're going to take a look at the Dr. Zam's math e-classes and webinars that we have regularly for your kids. And then we're going to take a look at upcoming special webinar, PSL 2018 preparation. Okay, we actually happened yesterday, so you can actually take a recorded video of it. Then I'm going to introduce to you some of the school holidays program that we are having from 31st August to 1st to 9th September. And then we're going to take a look at secondary math and beyond, right? So if your kids are now in secondary school, how is math education going to be like when they go to, let's say, pre-university levels or polytechnic, and so on, tertiary levels. All right, now, so Dr. Zam's math is about brain-based learning. All right, so we are actually the world's first and only brain-based learning for Singapore math. All right, so Singapore math framework actually involves problem solving. In fact, if you were to take a look based on the Curriculum Planning and Development Division, Ministry of Education Singapore, what is stated is that the central focus of the framework is mathematical problem solving. So what is mathematical problem solving? Mathematical problem solving is using mathematics to solve problems, right? So even from Ministry of Education itself, the framework for mathematics education in Singapore is using mathematics to solve problems. So problem solving is very important, and that is the reason why Singapore consistently tops international assessments in math, right? Like for example, you have the TEAMS, you have the PISA, right? So all these are international assessments which Singapore students have shown to be the top in the world for math education. And that is the reason why the government, or rather the Ministry of Education, wants to continue focusing on this framework of using math to solve problems. And this framework has been created since 1990s, and that is the beginning of when Singapore actually started being taught. For your information, Singapore used to be right at the end of the list of countries, but right now we have gone to the top, right? So because of this very significant education system paradigm. So the education system of Singapore focuses on problem solving. All right, so let me just share with you this framework, which is actually found under the MOE syllabus for math, right? So as you can see here, all right, so as you can see here, mathematical problem solving. Okay, sorry, let me just go back to the previous slide. Alright, so if you can see here, mathematical problem solving is the focus, right? So you have the attitudes, you have the meta connection, the processes, the concepts, and the skills. So for most parents, you might think that only the concepts and skills are very important. But right now, they are focusing more also on the processes of math, which is reasoning, communication, connections within mathematics, and outside of mathematics, like for example, daily life, thinking skills, and heuristics. Alright, and of course, meta connection. Alright, so all this we will cover to let you understand what is the Singapore Secondary Math Framework. Alright, so Dr. Zam's math is also focused on mathematical problem solving. So Dr. Zam's math and Singapore Secondary Math, they are actually synchronized. Alright, but Dr. Zam's math, we are very focused on brain-based learning, and we are the world's first and only brain-based learning for Singapore mathematics. Alright, so brain-based learning, according to the framework that we use at Dr. Zam's math, is actually equal to mathematical problem solving. Right, so you have the brain-based learning and you have the mathematical problem solving. Alright, so it's about turning on your brain. So, or turning on your brain or improving your brain. You know, we use the principles of neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity talks about how your brain can keep on becoming fitter and fitter, better and better, no matter what age you are at. Alright, and how does this equal to mathematical problem solving? Because problem solving actually requires very high cognitive function, very high cognitive demand from your children, alright, or from yourself. Okay, so what is brain-based learning? Now, according to what we have developed, brain-based learning here refers to two things, right? We are not only interested in how fit your child is, we are also looking at the multiple intelligences that your child have, because every child is unique, right? And so how do you harness your child's uniqueness in its multiple intelligences so that we can teach your child how to learn math, alright, and then at the same time use these multiple intelligences to help your child do so much better in math. And at the same time, we take a look at the brain fitness of your child. How fit is your child's brain, right? So when you combine these both together, you will get brain-based learning, right? So what we've been able to do here is, like I mentioned to you, multiple intelligences, we've been able to develop certain tools and techniques of teaching your kids how to learn based on its multiple intelligences. Like for example, your child could be word smart, right? Your child is good with words, you know, verbally, linguistically, or your child is math smart. Math smart means logically intelligent. You know, your child could be nature smart. Okay, your child is a naturalist, he loves nature. Your child could be body smart. Alright, your child loves to move around. Musical smart. Okay, music smart. Your child could be loving music. Interpersonal or social smart, right? Or people smart. Your child likes to be with people, socialize. Or, you know, like for example here, we also have intrapersonal or introspective, which is self-smart. Your child loves to be on its own, think about things and reflect. And finally, the one which is quite common in Singapore is picture smart children. Right, how your children use pictures to learn better, right? So this is our brain-based learning method. All right, so some of our brain tools that we currently have is the BrainCore Infinity Diagnostic Suite. Okay, so the BrainCore Infinity Diagnostic Suite help us to see two things, right? First, we are actually able to develop, or rather be able to take a look at your child's brain print, right? What is your child's brain print? So based on your child's brain print, we are able to know what are the different kind of multiple intelligences your child have. Just like the thumbprint, every child or every human being actually has a brain print, right? So the brain print, actually we take a look at all the different domains of intelligences. Okay, there are actually 8 domains of intelligences. So based on this brain print, we are able to help your children learn better because we have different strategies for different brain prints. At the same time, we have this thing called the CFC score. So CFC score is actually the cognitive functions and connection score, right? This one, the score here gives an indication of the fitness of your child's brain. All right, so the fitter your child's brain is, the higher its capacity to perform certain cognitive operations, problem solving, decision making, right? And we've also been able to develop another tool, of ours, which we call it the Infinito Brain Fitness Training. So Infinito Brain Fitness Training actually takes a look at how we can help. It's a platform for brain fitness training whereby we help your child to improve memory, improve attention, improve the brain speed, intelligence, navigation, and people skills. So these are the 6 areas that we help your children with. Alright, and then finally, we also work with Qantas Learning. Alright, we also work with Qantas Learning, which is the personalized learning partner. So Qantas Learning is actually able to make use of your child's unique intelligences based on all these brain tools and actually customize or personalize your child's learning in every single session. Alright, so if you are looking for help, in child's learning, you can actually send them to Qantas Learning. So these are all our different brain tools that we have. We have to help your child when your child actually joins Dr. Zam's Math. Alright, now let's take a look at what is being meant by Brain-Based Learning Singapore Math. Okay, what is Brain-Based Learning for Singapore Math? So first, you have Dr. Zam's Math framework, right? So the first, which I think every parent will know, would be the math concepts, right? So it is very important for everybody to know the math concepts. Okay, the math conceptual mastery. That means your children need to be able to master concepts. Okay, and then your math skill competency. Okay, your children need to be able to be competent in the math skill. And also at the same time, math processes, right? So many parents don't really know what are math processes. So later I'll touch more on that. And the fourth one is the math mental routine or habit. How do you create a math brain for your child such that it becomes a routine or a habit? So that falls under meta connection. And then finally, the other important M is motivation, right? So it's very important for your child to have the interest, the passion to do well. So this is a framework of Dr. Zam's Math. Alright, so for the math mental routine, we actually have a specific method which we use the GWS method with Dr. Zam Keys checklist to help your child in problem solving. So when your children actually practices this routine, your child tends to be able to solve problems faster and with less effort. Okay, because your child gets very used to solving problems. Alright, now, like I mentioned to you, the very first component of Dr. Zam's Math is the math conceptual mastery. So down here, we are looking at these different math mastery, right? Math concepts. We are looking at numbers, numerical. We are looking at algebra. We are looking at geometry, statistics, probability, and analytical, right? So these are the different areas of math concepts. All right. Then when we talk about math skills, we are looking at how your child calculate numbers, how your child manipulate algebra, spatial visualization, data analysis, right? Measurement, how your child actually perform measurement, how your child is able to use mathematical tools, and estimation. So estimation is very important in mathematics because in mathematics there are certain constants or certain numbers that is not fixed, right? Like for example, if I can tell you, pi is a term which is often associated to circles. Pi has infinite decimal places, right? So that is the reason why estimation is very important, because in the real world there are numbers or there are values which are infinite, right? Infinite, that means the decimal places are infinite, so you need to estimate, all right, to make more meaning out of the real world. Now the next thing is math processes. So under math processes, this is the part where most parents might not know, right? We are focused on the reasoning, okay, mathematical reasoning, communication, and connections, right? So reasoning here means how your child is able to come out with draw logic, look at things logically, analyze the information, then after that make deductions and then make inferences based on the evidence that your child has, right? So some of the ways of reasoning would be generalization. Okay, so there are two forms of reasoning, deductive and inductive. Right? Then here is communication, how your child communicates using the mathematical language, like using symbols, the notation, conventions in math. And of course, connections, how your child connects with the daily world, the daily life, the real world applications of math, connecting reading math between the topic, one topic with another, and of course applying what your child learns in math, like for example the facts, the formulas, the concepts, and apply it in problem solving. And then the last one is heuristics and thinking skills. So heuristics here means problem solving tools. How your children use these problem solving tools together with the thinking skills to solve problem. Alright, so just now I was mentioning about math mental routine. How do you help your child to have this math mental routine such that your child is able to look at questions or look at math in a certain way? So it's actually the awareness of an ability for your child or the student to control his thinking processes, especially in the selection and use of problem solving strategies. Right? So for example here we make use of Dr. Zamski's checklist. So the word keys here means keep it systematic and score. So things have to be systematic so you can score. Alright, and then motivation. So every student must be self-motivated and attain peak states for math learning. Right? So your child must learn to be motivated and then reach a very optimal level for math learning so that it can be fun, meaningful, and it must be personalized to the student's own best learning strategies, right? Because math shouldn't be taught in the way that the teachers feel it should be taught. It should be taught in the way students learn, right? So at Dr. Zam's Math, that is what we are very focused on. Alright, now brain-based learning Singapore Math, to tell you the truth, is like a juggling act, right? Because your child not only needs to master math concept, your child also needs to have math skills competency, right? How do your children actually juggle both? And then at the same time, how do your children also have the math processes, right? So your children need to be good in these three areas: the math concept, the math skills competency, and math processes. Alright, then at the same time, all these three, alright, will be integrated with the math mental routine or habit, alright, the meta connection, and also motivation, so that your children can keep on juggling, right? Like I mentioned to you, Singapore Math is like a juggling act between all these three areas, alright, the skills, the concepts, the processes, like problem solving skills. How do your children pick the correct problem solving strategies? Alright, now we're gonna take a look at how we can help your children progress, right, from your current math grades, and what are the issues sometimes. Alright, so let's take a look at the failing grade here. Alright, so if you take a look here, alright, the top grading here is for express streams, okay, or for O level. The middle one here is for normal acad, and the last one here is for normal tech. Alright, so if you look at the express stream or the O level, the failing grades are of more refined, in the sense that they do not group everybody as fail. Okay, so they have F9 for below 40%, they have E8 between 40 to 44, and then D7. So there is a certain grading, right? Certain grade points that your child can get. So can you imagine if your child can improve 5 more marks, even though your child failed, your child will earn an extra 1 point. Alright? And then if your child score F9, doesn't matter, even if your child is scoring 0 all the way to 40, it's still 9. Right? So if your child can improve another 5 marks, or probably another 10 marks, your child will already pass. Right? Then you have the C6, you have the C5, B4, B3, A2, A1. And then for A1, you have a big range of marks, right? At least 25% of the paper is for your child to score A1. Alright, but do take note, the results on national examinations actually depend on the bell curve. Alright, so bell curve here means they do not only give your child the absolute score. So like for example, if your child scores 75%, it doesn't mean your child will get that grade. Like for example, A1, because they will actually compare your children's result with the result of the whole cohort and then decide on the grading. Right? So if they have too many students scoring, let's say 80%, then they cannot be giving everybody A1, right? So probably only those who score 90% can get A1. So typically, depending on the difficulty of the paper for that year, your child need to be scoring about 83 to 85% to get an A1, to secure an A1. So do not tell your children to only focus on A2, right? Your child need to try to push for 80. If your child is really very capable, you need to help your child aim for 80. Alright, now for the normal academic or normal tech streams or N level, okay, they only have one grade for failure, and that is U, which is less than 50%. Alright, so then from there on, you have the other grade, which is 50 to 59, which is 5, grade 5 for normal acad, grade D. And then after that, for normal acad, the 60s, okay, the marks in the 60s are broken down into 4 and 3. Alright, for the normal tech, it's all grouped into just C. Alright, and then for above 70, normal acad is similar to O level. So as you can see, normal acad and express, their grading start becoming the same from 60% onwards. Alright, this is how they differentiate the better students. Alright, and then for normal tech, the B grade is 70%. For your child to score A, your child needs to score 80%. Alright, so now that you know your child's current grades, alright, I want to show to you what this grade means in terms of your children's understanding of math. So if your children are taking secondary math, it means that your child's math fundamentals are still weak. Right? Math fundamentals, simple math fundamentals. That means if your child is starting out in Sec 1 and your child is already getting this, your child really needs to revise on primary math because the fundamentals are still not there. Alright? And then your child is also very weak in basic math concepts. Right? They are still weak. That's why they are failing. And at the same time, your child is still weak in algebra. So for normal tech, normal tech students, if you are from the foundation stream, you have not taken, if you're from the foundation math in primary 6, that means you have not taken algebra, because algebra is not tested in PSLE foundation. So you must work on your algebra, right? Then you'll be doing better. And then for those who are normal ACAD and express, most of the time they are still very confused about algebra. And algebra is required for almost 60% of all topics, right? So algebra is very, very important, especially if your child is taking A math, right? And again, problem solving, okay, the way how your child tries to solve problem, all right, there's still mistakes, not able to do it, and then careless mistakes, precision and speed. So these are the areas where your children have problems with. So if you can help your children in these areas, your children will then be able to move on to having better grades. Alright, so if your children is scoring this kind of grade 50s and 60s, usually it's because of advanced math concepts. That means concepts which they're not used to. Like for example, in secondary school will be concepts like matrices, vectors, probability. These are new topics which your children have not learned since primary school, right? And then again, problem solving abilities, careless mistakes, precision and speed. Alright, so make sure in order for your child to improve further, right, getting higher grades, your child need to focus on all these areas. Now, if your child is already doing very well, right, 70%, and you want to secure and ensure your child score an A1, your child must be really good in advanced math concepts and advanced problem solving, because very difficult questions require your child to know advanced problem solving strategies. And students who are already good, they tend to make a lot of careless mistakes because of their speed. Okay, they think very fast, their brain is racing. Alright, and then precision and speed, okay, is also very important. So this is how your children can improve further down. Alright, the other thing that we take a look at Dr. Zam's math is motivation and brain fitness training. Because sometimes, when we carry out the brain core infinity diagnostics, we actually find out that the reason why your child is failing is not because your child is not able to do well, it's because your child is not motivated. But we have certain situations whereby you will be telling us, or you observe that your children are very motivated. How come your child is not doing well? Okay, so at times this is because of the cognitive function, the brain fitness, right? So what we try to do here is, together with our learning partner, we actually take a look at motivation and also brain fitness training. Alright, so this is something for you all to think about, right, when you're trying to help your children, motivation and brain fitness. Okay? Alright, now I just want to introduce to you some of our books that will be out hopefully next year. So we have books for lower secondary E-math, lower secondary math for all the different streams, normal Express, Normal Acad, and Normal Tech. And then we also have E-Math, okay, E-Math book. And at the same time, we also have A-Math. So for A-Math, we actually have 3 books, okay, 3 volume for A-Math, and it could be used for Normal Acad or Express. So we have Algebra, we have Geometry and Trigonometry, and Calculus. Alright, so for Normal Tech, we have Lower Sec and Upper Sec, and then for E-Math, okay, which is math meant for Express and Normal Acad, we also have for Lower Sec and Upper Sec. So you can look out for these publications somewhere in February or March. Okay, so these are the 2 books, E-Math, and then this is Normal Tech, and then this is for A-Math. Alright. Okay, now I just want to share with you the new exam format, okay, from 2018. Actually, to tell you the truth, the exam format started since 2016. Alright, so for those who are taking your exams this year, you must really use the right exam papers for your practice. Alright, so let's take a look at the okay, so for E-Math, alright, let me just show you the E-Math one first. Alright, so we'll be taking a look at O-level E-Math and also N-level E-Math. Okay, so for N-level E-Math is normally taken when you are Sec 4 and you're in Normal Acad, right? And O-level Math is when you're in Sec 4 Express, alright, or Sec 5 and A. Alright, so you must know that if your child is in Sec 4 N-level, your child needs to take a leap, because the kind of questions are different, right? Except for paper 1. So if you look at paper 1, let's take a look at paper 1. For O-level, paper 1 is 2 hours and there are 25 short answer questions. They are supposed to answer all questions and it's 80 marks, okay, which is actually the same as N-level. Alright, so for paper 1, there's not much difference. So if your children are preparing for N-level, the format is the same. But the difference here will be the topics tested for N-level will be, of course, different from O-level. O-level, you will have all the topics. For N-level, you do not have certain topics. Alright, for paper 2, alright, it will be 2 hours and 30 minutes for O-level, but N-level is 2 hours only, right? And the total mark is only 60 because it's at N-level. So N-level, they try not to make the paper 2 difficult. Alright, but for E-Math is 100 marks, alright, for paper 2. So many marks come from paper 2, but the weightage is still 50%. Likewise for Normal Acad or N-level E-Math. So in this case, let's take a look at paper 2 for O-level, right? So for paper 2 for O-level, there will only be 10 to 11 questions of varying marks and length, but total will be 100 marks. So it's like about 10 marks per question. Alright, and the last question, okay, the last question in this paper will focus specifically on applying mathematics on a real world scenario. So this is a very major change in the exam format. Okay, the last question will always be based on real world scenario. You know, like for example, the past year question will actually tested about, you know, how your child applies mathematics to discuss or give answers in relation to somebody who wants to lose weight, somebody who wants to control the nutrition. So that is a real world scenario. Alright, so for paper 2, your child is still required to answer all questions. Alright, so this is something for you to think about. And then for N-level, okay, there will be 2 sections for paper 2, right? The reason is because you are not supposed to answer all questions, okay, except for section A. So section A is similar to paper 2 of O-level in the sense that you are supposed to answer all questions, and the last question will be about using mathematics in real world scenario, right? It's the same, it's just that they have fewer questions and the number of marks per question will be smaller. Alright, then for section B, they will give you 2 questions and your child only needs to answer 1. Alright, so the questions in section B will be based on this topic, okay, which is on geometry and measurement and also statistics and probability. Alright, so 1 will be from geometry, 1 will be on statistics and probability. So your children can actually just choose 1. Alright, so each of these questions will be either 7 or 8 marks. Okay, so this will be in section B. So this is the difference between N level and O level, right? But the reason why I want to put them together is because most students who are in normal acad, they want to go to Sec 5 and then take O level. So they must know there is a big jump, okay, in terms of the exam format. And at the same time, there are different topics in N level, right? So this is something your children need to take note of. Alright, now let's take a look at additional math. Alright, there are some schools that offer additional math. So additional math are students who are probably scoring B or A for their PSLE, or already scoring 80% in their lower sec math, or in some school 70% will be good enough for your children to take A math. And in some school they offer A math to normal academic students. Okay, so for example here we have normal academic students who is offered A math as well, and then you have the standard O level additional math where you take it when you're Sec 4, right? So for N level A math, you take it when you're Sec 4 normal acad, alright, and then you have the O level math when you take it when you're Sec 4 express, or when you are Sec 5 normal acad. Alright, so for A math, the paper is very different. You know, like for example, for O level A math, paper 1, okay, you have 2 hours duration. Paper 2 is 2.5 hours. The total mark is 80. Okay, the weightage for paper 1 is smaller, slightly smaller than paper 2. Alright, so in both papers, you're supposed to answer all questions. In paper 1, you have more questions and shorter, fewer marks as compared to paper 2, right? So paper 2, one question will be about 9 marks or 10 marks or 11 marks, you know, total will be 100 marks. So paper 2 will require your children to have to show working. So make sure all these papers your children show proper workings. Alright, so for N level A math, okay, same thing, paper 1, paper 2. Paper 1 is shorter by 15 minutes. Paper 2 is shorter, much shorter, 45 minutes, because this is N level, so they do not really want to tax your children too much. So for paper 1, it's quite similar, except that now they have more questions and lesser marks. So that means these questions are easier on your children. Alright, so for paper 2, it's about the same as paper 2 for O level. Alright, it's 70. But the weightage for both paper 1 and paper 2 for N level is the same. So this is something for you to think about. Alright, so let me just introduce to you Dr. Zam's Math e-classes and webinars. So e-classes or webinars means we conduct these classes online. Alright, we do understand that students, especially secondary school students, they are very busy with their schedule, and we want to make use of technology to help your children have access to high quality classes. So that's why we have the e-classes and webinars. Webinars here means web-based seminar or web-based classrooms, like what we're having right here. So like for example, in today's webinar is actually streamed live across Facebook, YouTube, and also in our VIP webinar room. Alright, so for the webinars, we have a few. We have special webinars like this webinar, which we conduct quite during special occasions like before PSLE or O-level, N-level, right? We also have special webinars for parents, and then we have recorded webinars where you can go through the videos again and things like that. And then we have the e-classes, right? So e-classes will be, like I mentioned to you, will be live. So I will be there taking questions. You know, sometimes your children will have questions. I will be able to take the questions and then clarify. Right, so we are using the technology of e-classes to help your children have access to quality teaching or quality learning. Alright, then again we will cover all of this. We will cover the math mastery concepts, we will cover the skills, we will cover the math processes, we will make sure your children follow the math mental routine, we will take a look at your child's motivation, right? So the topics that we cover for all these three, for e-math and lower secondary math, will be these three main areas. Okay, so part 1 will be on number and algebra, part 2 will be measurement and geometry, part 3 will be statistics and probability, and part 4, which is a very important thing right now, will be problems derived from real world context. So in this case, will be based on these two topics, alright, in these two big categories, alright. So under each of these category, these are all the topics which we will cover. Alright, so if you're taking O-level E-Math, we will cover every topic here. So do refer to the website drzam.com to know all the different topics tested. Alright, then the next thing here will be the additional math. Alright, so the additional math here, there are 3 parts that we take a look at. So we take a look at algebra. Alright, so it's very important for your child to have a very strong foundation in algebra. We take a look at geometry and trigonometry, and lastly calculus. So these are all the different topics under A Math. Alright, and then geometry and trigonometry, these are the 5 topics, and calculus, these are all the 3 other topics. So whether you're taking O-level or N-level, the 3 categories are the same, but different topics are not tested. So for example, N-level, they will not test partial fractions, and then they will not test some of the applications. Alright, and this power, exponential, logarithmic, and modulus. So actually, to tell the truth, Dr. Zam's math syllabus or curriculum, we actually try to cover everything that is in the O-level, and then we cut down the content and also the format for your children, so that your children can have a very smooth transition from N-level to O-level, because we have students most of the time who are doing N-level and they go on to Sec 5, but nowadays we also have students who are so good at N-level that they go straight to Polytechnic. Alright, so currently we are running the E-classes for PSLE N and O-level math revision. So we currently have a math revision program which is about 20 sessions, so it's all the way until the examination date. Alright, so let me just show you briefly. You want more information on this, please go to drzam.com/revision series 2018. Alright, so if you're watching this video in 2019, I suppose you should go to revision series 2019 to get the latest update. Alright, so first we have the ultimate PSLE math revision e-classes with Dr. Zam. Alright, so it's 90 minutes twice a week. So the first session will be on Wednesdays, 5 p.m. The second session will be 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. on Fridays. Alright, so twice a week, and we will cover different topics, and I will help your children differently, okay, for different topics and processes, including problem sum strategy. So if you go to this drzam.com/revision series 2018, you'll be able to find the schedule. Alright, and we only charge your children $67 per student, right? Only $67 per student, and it's a one-time payment for 20 sessions. Alright, and right now we have a money-back guarantee, ironclad money-back guarantee, in the sense that if your children do not improve, you just show us the proof in the O-level result, N-level result, PSLE, and we'll give back that $67 to you. No question asked. Just give us the proof. And the only condition is your children has to attend at least 90% of the sessions. Alright, so this class is starting next week, which is 18 July 2018 on a Wednesday. So the first E-class is a free preview to the public. Alright, you don't have to pay, you can just come in, get your children to come in. Alright, we also have the ultimate N and O level. So for N and O level, it is still on Wednesdays or Fridays. So N or O level means if you are taking E-Math, you are in N level or O level, you can take on Wednesdays and Fridays at 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. So these are live E-classes. Alright, and it's only $97 per student. So it's a one-time payment for 20 sessions. Actually, to tell the truth, we offer more than 20 sessions because we have special E-classes to help your children prepare even better. Alright, so this is something for you to take note of. For your information, it means it's only about $2 to $3 per session, up to $5. It's cheaper than a McDonald's meal, right? So it's something for you to think about. And it's starting also next week. Alright, so the first E-class is free preview. The third one is additional math. Alright, so the same thing, but we do it on a different day, Tuesday and Thursdays. And again, it's just $97 per student, a one-time payment for 20 sessions. So as you can see, but we are starting a bit later on the 2nd August. Alright, for A-Math. The reason is because for A-Math, the examinations are further down, right? And we do not want your children to be so busy with so many E-classes that they won't have time to integrate or take some time to digest the information. So do take note, right? The first E-class is a free preview as well. Alright, so let me just repeat this. You have no risk, okay? Zero risk. Just sign up for it. Okay, if you're not sure how the class is, you can take a look at the free preview live. If you want to even take a look at the free preview, you can look at it at the recorded webinar. It's recorded E-class. You can take a look whether things are good. Then you can join us. No problem. And after even joining us, if I cannot help your children to improve, I'll give you back $67. I'll give you back $97. All right. All you have to do is just make sure your children attend this 90% of the time, and I guarantee your children will do well. And please take note, with e-classes, your children from any part of the world at any time can join us with a device connected to internet, right? So do take note of that. All right. Now, for the school holidays programs, which starts in 31st August, 1st to 9th September, we have the PSLE Math Preparation. All right. Then the Algebra Mastery Workshops. All right. So PSLE Math Preparation Workshop will be able to help your children do well in math. At the same time, we have the Algebra Mastery Workshops. Alright, because algebra is very important, so we thought that it's important for your children to go through algebra mastery workshops. And at the same time, we do not want to have too many workshops for secondary school students, because we find that they have so many subjects, and then for us to offer workshops which are very detailed in the way we cover, it will be requiring your child to extend itself too greatly, right? Okay, so these are some of the pictures that we have from previous programs. Alright, now in this segment, I just want to touch a little bit about the transition, right? Secondary math and beyond, right? So what is there, you know, like for example, your children, if your children are in lower sec 1, sec 2, primary school math is very important. Like for example, the primary 4 and below math is the foundation. Then you have primary 5, then you have primary 6. So if your children is from the primary foundation math, then your children have lots to cover, right? If your child is in normal acad. If your child is taking standard PSLE and your child has a very strong foundation, most of the time sec 1 and sec 2 shouldn't be a problem. If it's a problem, then your children need to revisit these basic math concepts, right? So let's say right now your children are already in N level or O level. What's next, right, for math? Come, let's take a look at this. So again, under MOE, Curriculum Planning and Development Division, they actually stated that mathematics is largely, you know, in a hierarchy format. So higher concepts and skills are built upon the more foundational ones right at the bottom. So like for example here, right, so for example here, if you notice, this is the primary school. Alright, so the foundation P1, P4 is very important, and then you go standard math. So if your child takes standard math and then your child takes foundation math, sometimes you can explain why your child is struggling. You know, like for example, if your child is taking foundation math and your child straight away takes normal acad math, your child need to do a lot of bridging, because some of the topics in foundation math are not covered, are not being covered in foundation math. They are covered in normal acad math, right? So it's very important for your child to do bridging. Alright, and then if your child is taking standard math, okay, you don't have to bridge. Okay, then you have the O-level E-math. So if your children is intending to go JC, pre-university, if your child take E-math, it is suitable for your child to take H1 math. But if let's say your child wants to take H2 math and he or she only has E-math, your child needs to make sure he does some bridging, or she does some bridging, because if not, your child will be struggling, right? So if your child takes A math, O level or and A level, then it will be easier for your child to take H2 math and H3 math. So this is for JC, right? So H3 math, of course, is the most advanced form of math in the Singapore education system, right? Which later on, if your child is interested, your child can go on and take math in university, right? But some children, they will go to, let's say, polytechnic. So some polytechnic courses require certain grades in math. Alright, and I have found out that students who go to polytechnic and they go, for example, engineering courses or courses that require math, and if your child does not have a strong foundation, your child will still be struggling, right? So you need to make sure your children are good in the foundation concepts, you know, in the concepts in foundation fundamentals, you know, mathematics fundamentals, and then especially if your children are going JC, these are the things to look at. And then if your children is in the IP program, IP means integrated program, sometimes they can even bring in topics from the higher level down to lower secondary. Or if, for example, your children can even be tested additional mathematics topics, you know, even though your child's not taking additional mathematics. Or they can even bring some topics from H2, H1 or H3 down to Sec 4 and Sec 3, right? Because your child is in IP program. So this is basically the pathway for mathematics education in Singapore. Alright, now, like I mentioned to you, if you look at primary math and secondary math, right, the framework is the same. Right at the center here is still the problem solving, right? So problem solving here is still very important. It is the focus. All right. So Dr. Zam's math is very focused on problem solving. So for your information, every Saturday we actually release a set of questions which we call Saturday Solve. All right. So we actually give 2 problems, one for primary school, the other one for secondary school. Your children will take the whole day to try to solve the questions, and then on a Sunday you will give your children the solution, and at the same time your children will try to score in math. So Sunday we call it the Sunday score, right? So we will help your children to have problem solving strategies so that your children can do better. All right. So like I mentioned here, mathematical problem solving is very important, right? That is the reason why Singapore's education system is number 1. Right. Now, for those who are interested in personalized learning, Quantas learning, it's very focused on customizing and personalizing the learning of every children based on their brains, right? Like just now I mentioned to you, the brain core diagnostic system is based on multiple intelligences and brain fitness training. So if your child needs this help, okay, you can sign up for the trial at bemigrators.com. Okay, for your information, the coaching sessions are weekly. Alright, it's very personalized. You can choose 1:1 ratio. That means if you feel that your child needs personalized attention, you can go 1:1. You can even have it 1:2. You can have it 1:4 or 1:8, which is the standard. For your information, Quantas Learning is an international quality award winner. Alright, so you can be rest assured quality is always on Quantas Learning's mind. Alright, now there's going to be a bonus, like I mentioned to you. You can take a look at the preview e-classes going to start next week on Wednesday for e-math, N-level and O-level. So make sure you go to the website drzam.com/revision series 2018 to take a look at the schedule and the preview classes which starts next week. Alright, so you can take a look at the PSLE preview classes, you can take a look at the O-level, N-level e-math preview, and then in August you can take a look at the A-math preview classes. Alright, so make sure you go to drzam.com to read up about everything that you need to know. Sign up for Dr. Zam Math newsletter. You can like and follow us on Dr. Zam's Math because we do have streaming both on YouTube and Facebook. You can go to YouTube. Our YouTube channel is youtube.drzam.com. You can go to our Instagram, Twitter, and even blog. Alright, and then if you join our newsletter, you will get these goodies, right, as our welcome gift. Alright, so now I will take some questions from the parents who have joined us live. Let me just turn on my my Facebook just to take a look. Okay, so this question. We also have the ultimate N and O level. So for N and Alright, okay, so if your child is scoring 20%, for example, okay, there's a parent who asks, your child takes E-math and A-math and not doing well in both, right? So what should I do? Right, the first thing you ask yourself, like just now I showed you the pathway, the education system pathway, right? Your child needs A-math if your child is doing JC math. So the question you need to ask yourself is your child going to do pre-university? Do you want your child to go JC, or does your child want to go JC? If your child wants to go polytechnic, your child should focus just on one. Remember this, when you drop one subject, it means your child has more time for another subject. So I have many students whereby they are struggling in both, and I will tell them most of the time, drop your A-math, focus on your E-math. Because when you go polytechnic, they do not see whether you take 2 mathematics, they look and evaluate the grade for your E-math. So if your E-math is A1, alright, if your E-math is A1, and then if your E-math is A1, then they will very likely let you get into the course that you want if your aggregate matches, right? So this is something for you to think about, right? So if you have a choice to drop your child's A-math, you can drop your child A-math. I know some of you all are taking the O-level, you know, the prelims are coming. So should your child drop A-math? Why not? I mean, like, if your child's not doing well in A math and then your child have E math, struggling on E math, what's the point? Might as well you drop A math, but then your child must be focused on E math. If your child is not motivated at all, there's no point dropping anything because your child is just not motivated, right? So if your child is already in express stream, I can tell you, you can be rest assured that your child is capable of doing well in anything as long as your child is motivated and knows how to do it. Alright, so that's the question. Now, the next question you asked about IP math, right? Okay, IP math, to tell you the truth, for students who are taking IP math, for those who do not know IP math, IP means integrated program, right? So integrated program here means for students who go to some of the SAP schools, like for example Victoria, Raffles, or some of River Valley and things like that, River Valley and other secondary schools, they actually have IP program. IP program basically means they do not have to take O-level at Sec 4. Okay, they only have to take A-level. So the good thing is, it means that your child does not need to worry about preparing for O-level and suddenly disrupt its learning, right? To prepare for O-level, your child can learn all the way, right? So the tricky part here is some of the topics from A-level will be brought down, and some of the topics from upper secondary will be brought down to lower secondary. So your children must be able to catch up, and really be good in math, alright? So your children need to also refer to materials in A math and E math, even though your child is doing lower secondary math. So this is something for you to think about. And most of the time, the schools do not really follow the syllabus in the mainstream mathematics if your child is in IP stream or in IP program, right? So you must make sure you follow the curriculum of the school and help your child to do well. So like for example, in Qantas Learning, we do have students who take IP, right? Integrated program. They are in integrated program. So what we do here is we personalize. So there will be no situation whereby your children will be going to a class and your children will be saying, I already learned this, I already covered this last year, how come we are learning it again? So for Qantas Learning, one of the greatest point about Qantas Learning is personalized. Every session is personalized to your child in the way your child learns, personalized to your child in the way the school covers the topic. So basically personalization is to the maximum when you go for Qantas Learning, right? So that's about IP program. Okay, so N level, what's your advice? Okay, my child is doing N level. Should my child go to Sec 5? Alright, if your children do well enough for N level, right, your children can actually straight away go to the foundation program in Polytechnic. But if your children are not doing well in N level, just barely make it to go to Sec 5, should they go Sec 5 or should they go to ITE? Right, actually tell you the truth, there's actually a big jump from N level to O level. There is a big jump. Alright, so if your child is not the academic kind of student, I would advise your child to take the ITE path. If your child cannot go to Polytechnic, take the ITE path, and then after that, probably your child can take higher ITE or advanced ITE, and then after that can go to Polytechnic and then university. Alright, so there's always a certain pathway for every children, so don't be worried about that, because Singapore has an integrated education pathways, right? So your child can laterally transfer, from normal tech to normal acad to O level, and then after that your child can also go to ITE and then go to Polytechnic and also go to university. So you don't have to worry about all of this. Let me just take a look at more questions. So Algebra Workshops, okay, will be catered to lower secondary and upper secondary. So we'll be covering all the topics on algebra, because algebra, to tell you the truth, is actually easy, right? So especially for those who are taking A math, your algebra have to be very, very good, because there is the whole category of topics under algebra alone. So your child's algebra needs to be really, 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 really good. Okay, so should your children take A math? Alright, so normally if a school offer A math, it means that your child is able to do A math. Alright, so your child needs to consistently do revision, consistently understand what your child needs to do. So for secondary school student, I would say there's a big jump. Alright, from primary school to secondary school, there's actually a big jump. So secondary school, your children will be taking 8 subjects, in some school all the way to 10 O-level subjects. So make sure your children manages time very well. Your child must be sufficiently motivated. And then if your children are in normal tech, right? In normal tech, it doesn't mean anything, right? I've known students who are in normal technical stream that went on to university, right? So it's a matter of how motivated your child is and how well your child can be resilient, right? So it's very important for your child to be motivated and keep on going, because life is all about learning. It's not just, oh, at the end of O level, at the end of N level, at the end of PSLE or A level or polytechnic diploma, because life is continuous, right? I mean, learning should be continuous in life. So that's why in Singapore we have this thing called the skills future, right? So skills future is the belief that learning is for life. Even for those who are working, they have to continuously upgrade themselves because things change very fast, right? The only thing that's consistent in life is change. Alright, so now it's already 9 o'clock. It's coming to 9 o'clock, so I will take probably the last question if there is any question. Alright, now, if you are struggling, if your child is struggling in geometry, okay, geometry is about shapes, angles, lines, area, perimeter, and things like that. One of the very important skill your child needs to have would be visual specialization. Visual specialization is to think in space, in 3D, right? So it's very important for your child to be able to manipulate the visual representation of something in the mind and rotate it as if it's imagining, right? Like for example, if I were to tell you, okay, can you see an apple on my palm? Can you see it? You can't see it because there's no apple. But if you are good with visual imagination or spatial visualization, I say there's an apple. You can see the apple, and then I will ask you what's the color of the apple. You can even see it. How big is it? Let's say you say, is this small? Okay, good. Now I ask you to enlarge it. Can you see it? Then I ask you to rotate it. Right, so for those students who are taking geometry and you're struggling with geometry, it's very important for you to train your spatial visualization. Spatial visualization is about space and visualizing things in space. Alright, so alright, okay, we'll just take one last final question. Yes, the holiday programs, the schedule will be out hopefully by end of July. Then you can actually sign up for the program. The program is suitable for PSLE students who are taking math, so we'll be covering problem sums, we'll be covering the mastery of concepts. For secondary school students, we will be helping the O-level students and also lower secondary school students to do better in algebra. Alright, so for the E-classes, one last question. For the E-classes, alright, you can take a look at the schedule, drzam.com/revision series 2018. The schedule of all the topics are there. Alright, and it's only a one-time payment of $67 for 20 sessions, alright, till PSLE, alright, for only $67. And if you're taking O-level or N-level, A-math or E-math is only $97, and there's a money-back guarantee, alright, meaning if you don't improve, we will give back the money to you, alright. But sometimes to parents, it's not about the money. You want to be sure that your children are being guided correctly, okay, being guided well. So do find out more about me, drzam.com, alright, about me and Dr. Zam's math, okay, explore the website, okay. So thank you very much for those who have joined me. For those who cannot join me for today's webinar, this whole presentation will be recorded and you can always join us again. Alright, so thank you very much. Have a very good evening and a good week ahead. Alright, thank you very much.